Hi everybody. I'm your friend, welcome to my YouTube channel. Tonight, a frantic 911 call. A teenage son, and a mother who won't get up. What at first sounds like a tragic accident soon fractures into a question investigators can't shake. How does a family arrive at this? 911, what's your emergency? My mom's bleeding out. I can't wake her. Please. You called 911. An ambulance is on the way. No, she doesn't have time. You need to go now. September 8, 2024. 17-year-old Colin Griffith calls from his grandmother's home in southwest Florida. He tells dispatch his mother, 39-year-old Katherine Griffith, had a knife that she fell on it. He sounds scared. He sounds confused. And he sounds like a kid who just watched his world split open. When first responders get there, they find a scene you can't unsee. Kathy on the floor, a dark pool of blood spreading out beneath her. It is, tragically, too late. She is pronounced dead at the scene. Colin invokes his rights. He says nothing more. All that remains at first are words recorded on a hotline and a body that demands answers. The autopsy rips the accident theory to shreds. This wound, a savage, deep incision through trachea, esophagus, and carotid artery, is not consistent with someone falling onto a knife. It is consistent with a hand, with intent, with another person doing the cutting. Detectives begin to untangle a family history threaded with chaos. Kathy had been a young mother, married at 14, pregnant as a teenager. Colin was raised in a fractured orbit. Years living with his father. Sudden returns, hard boundaries, and explosive arguments. Neighbors, relatives, even Ring doorbell audio paint a picture of a relationship that oscillated between affection and aggression. You don't even make your bed, Kathy can be heard saying on one clip. On another, there's yelling about phones, chores, and a Thanksgiving cruise that never went off. There are arrests. There are threats. There are moments when systems, law enforcement, mental health holds. Family courts try to step in and fail to stop the next escalation. A year before the fatal call, an incident ends with Colin in cuffs for domestic battery. Hours after his release, jail staff record what he told them. If you send me back to that house, I'll probably kill her. It's a line that will echo through the investigation. A red flag that was raised and then somehow ignored. Was Colin a ticking time bomb? Or a deeply troubled teen crushed by a home that never learned how to be safe for anyone? Those are the questions investigators ask as they pull at the threads. Baker Act holds, custody fights, prior domestic disturbances, bruises and recordings, threats and pleas for help. Family members give different pictures. Some describe Kathy as volatile and controlling, a mother who could lash out. Others say she was simply a flawed mom trying to rebuild a relationship with the son she'd lost to a broken family system. And then there's the night itself. Colin says Kathy attacked him, she had a knife, and she fell. The medical examiner says, no. The wound and the force behind it point to another person applying the blade. The physical evidence starts to clash with the story he told on the 911 tape. In the days that follow, the detectives methodically assemble a case. Photographs of the scene, forensics, DNA, witness statements, and the autopsy. Everything is measured against motive, opportunity, and the messy psychology of a family pushed past its limits. Courtroom drama finally becomes the crucible for truth. Was this a tragic accident, a pattern of escalating violence, or a deliberate act? Prosecutors will argue the wound could not have been self-inflicted. Defense will press the chaos of Kathy's behavior, Colin's youth, and the possibility of another explanation. And somewhere between legal strategy and human tragedy, the question that sits heavy on everyone's chest remains. How did this family get to such a dark place, and who, if anyone, failed them first? I'm not a psychopath, Colin would say later. I'm not this murderer. I'm trying to peacefully leave or peacefully coexist. But whether the court accepts that defense, whether the public sees him as a troubled child or a killer, those answers depend on cold science, witness credibility, and a jury willing to weigh one version of truth against another. This isn't a story with neat moral corners. It is the kind of case that forces us to look at the systems we rely on. What happens when mental health crises collide with domestic violence? When fear turns into threat, when calls for help meet bureaucracy? Stay with us. As this episode unfolds, we'll hear from detectives, review the evidence, and go back to that night in Florida, when one last argument became the moment everything changed, and a mother left this earth, knowing her son had butchered her. On 911 tapes, the autopsy details, and the recordings that finally forced investigators to ask the question everyone watching wants answered. Was this murder, or a horrible mistake?